Okay, hey, this is Mark coming to you this morning from Baker's Green Acres, and I am in the Homestead kitchen with the Homestead hostess. And so I'm going to turn this around. I just made that up.
That's good.
And we're going to talk about something this morning that goes along with the subject for the week in the Homesteaders Guild of homestead economics. And bear with us. I mean, you're thinking I'm going to talk about dollars and cents. I'm really not. I'm talking about perspective here. So what Jill's going to do is she's going to make bacon and eggs for us this morning for breakfast. And so why don't you just go ahead, Jill, and take it away.
All right.
Tell us what you got.
All right. Bacon and eggs. What we're having for the bacon is our homemade bacon. I left the rind on it to cure it. We get better flavor, and the rind helps protect it as it's sitting a little bit if I don't get to slicing it right away. Which this one I didn't. It sat in the shop for about a week, which is sort of refrigeration temperatures down there. The benefit of that is that it dries out a little bit and it fries up a little bit better. It keeps just fine. It's cured. When I go to use it though, like this morning for our bacon and eggs breakfast, I'm going to slice some of the rind off. You can see I've already sliced some of it off this rind. And then I'm going to knife cut it. I have a slicer down in the shop, but for just a little bit, it works just fine to use a knife.
You're wanting to demonstrate to the viewing audience that it can be done without a slicer.
Yeah, you can make your own bacon at home. And you don't need a lot of fancy equipment. All I had was a bag and salt and sugar and a few spices. And you can make your own bacon. It's not hard. We talk about it in the, well actually at the Homestead Hog Harvest class in November. You'll get to make bacon. That's where we teach that. But it's super simple. To take it off the rind, this is a Victorinox brand knife. This is a boning knife. It works, it's designed for taking meat off the bone. Works really good for filleting meat off the skin or that kind of stuff. To slice it, this is a Chicago Cutlery brand knife. I happened to pick this one up at Shopco, and it has worked really well.
Had that a long time, haven't you?
I have had it quite a while, and I sharpen it myself with a sharpening stick, and it's worked really good. The bigger knife is really nice for slicing because you can make a nice big long slice. So that's why I'm using two different knives, two different purposes, and it works really good. And there's our bacon for breakfast. Nice mangalitsa bacon. Very tasty.
I'm going to ask questions for people at home. It seems like there's a lot of fat on that. Can you go into that? That's awfully fatty bacon. I might not even want to eat that because I'm afraid of fat. Right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Fat is flavor, and good quality fat your body uses to lubricate your body. So healthy hair, good skin that's nice, and you can see my hands are pretty moist here. They're not all dried out and wrinkly and cracked skin. I don't use hand lotion because we have good fats in our diet. It makes all the difference. Heart is a concern always with fats. People are scared of it, and the ADA has all sorts of things to say about it, and the FDA and all sorts of government agencies. What you need to be afraid of is bad fat from the store and fake fat. Low fat stuff, your body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it in your arteries. This kind of fat on this beautiful bacon is all natural. There's no corn in it, no soy in our pigs. Your body takes this fat and keeps your veins nice and soft in your arteries so that all of that stuff just moves right on through and they stay good and healthy. Too much of a good thing is always bad, but good quality fats in your diet are essential.
Okay. All right, so what will you do with that piece of bacon now that you don't use? How will you store that?
This is the other reason I like to leave the rind on. This is a fairly small piece, so what I'm going to do with this one is fold that up over, and I can store it just like that. I can tie it and hang it back up, or I can just put it in a bag and put it in the fridge like that. But folding this rind over will help preserve it and keep it just fine.
Okay.
That's the purpose of it.
So like that is shelf stable right now?
It is. Actually, I could just, like I said, wrap around this and I could hang it in the kitchen here. It's a little warm. Or I can hang it back down in the shop where it's a little bit cooler and it's just fine. It doesn't have to be refrigerated
Okay.
or frozen. So,
All right.
all right.
So how are you going to cook that? Just so people can
Oh.
know how you're going to cook that.
I put it under the broiler usually. You can also do it in the frying pan, just like you would any other bacon.
Right.
It works just fine. I always save the bacon fat to use later too. That's a whole nother product with a lot of uses.
Okay.
So, the hooligans can tell you about the eggs though.
All right. The next part of this is going to be eggs, right? So this week in Homestead. Yep.
And they slack off.
And when that's happening to us, it's happening to everybody else. And, whoa, all of a sudden my thing moved. And so the price of eggs becomes very low. You know, sometimes you have to give them away just to clean them out of your fridge or wherever you keep them. But we have a method of storing eggs, and can you give us a brief overview what that's called, Jill, and what it entails? You know, the mixtures and things like that.
You want to tell them, Jim? You just gotta
It's-
speak up.
It's water glassing. It's
It's called water glassing?
Mhm.
Okay.
And how do you do it? Speak
you
up.
put a pickling lime in water, and then you put some eggs in, and this is.
So there's eggs in that bucket from July?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, eggs will last that long?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a long time. And you can eat those eggs?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you put eggs in the bucket. Do you wash the eggs first?
Nope.
You don't wash them. What if there's like some poop caked up on those eggs? What do you do then?
We just don't put them in.
You just don't put them in?
That's what we had for breakfast that morning, right?
Oh, okay. All right, so just the clean ones you put in there. But you don't wash them.
Nope.
How come you don't wash them?
Because then they will crack because they're more fragile and they won't last as long. I'm pretty
Is
sure.
that the only reason? Is there another reason?
What do the eggs have on them?
A protective layer.
Yeah, that hen, as she lays the egg, it gets coated with a layer that they fake with mineral oil, but it's a protective coating that keeps
Kind of
the
like-
egg from dehydrating and drying out.
Kind of waxy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and then when the eggs are submerged in this solution, then they will keep. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll keep for how long?
2 years.
2 years? That's a long time.
That's what we've heard. Is up to
It'd
2
be
years.
ancient eggs.
Okay, can you pull?
All right, so pull an egg out, and then we're gonna put that egg in, swish it around, and then let's hold that egg up so we can take a real close look at that egg. You guys are saying these eggs will last like that. Now, do you have to put this bucket in a refrigerator or something?
Nope.
No, you just put that in the basement?
Here's the egg. It still has.
There's a little lime on there still?
that
And that egg is just as fresh as when it was laid. Is
Yep.
that what you're telling me?
Yep.
Yep. Can you here? Go ahead and crack it into the bowl there.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, do it kind of. Carefully.
Shoot! Every time I crack an egg.
Here, you want to try one, Frank?
Do another one.
Sure.
Okay.
Yolk always breaks.
There.
All right, that one didn't break.
Yep, that one does good. And you see, these are a little bit oranger. They're a lot more orange than you get in the store. These hens have been eating a little bit of grass, and the yolks tended to keep better the greener grass that the hens have had. The
Okay.
more green grass. So the oranger the yolk, the better it keeps.
Okay. So you were able to, store a bucket of eggs in your basement. How many buckets did you store?
I did 6 this year.
6 buckets of eggs in your basement. And that's off 50 chickens.
Yes.
Is it about 50 or
Yeah, somewhere in there.
40 chickens? Okay, and those 6 buckets of eggs will last you how long? The entire
Oh,
year?
They'll last well into the spring. This is our 3rd bucket.
Okay, you got
So I
3
have
more
3
buckets
more
to
down
go.
there, yeah. And we're in February, and the hens will start laying when it warms up again in March and April.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll easily make our year, and that's with a large family.
Okay, we eat a lot of eggs. I eat 2
Yeah.
every morning.
Yep, and you can store them in smaller containers. You just have to make sure it's covered. So,
Right.
we made a whole video on that last summer, and I'll link to that in the comments
Okay.
or in the show description.
Okay. Well, that really helps in the illustration of homestead economics, because a lot of people feel that you keep 50 chickens and you're feeding them for a year, so your feed bill is going to be really high for eggs that you really only get in the spring because you're not able to accumulate them. But with this method here, you can spread those eggs out over an entire year. It really makes keeping a few chickens make sense for the homestead. I mean, dollars and cents, right? I mean, we don't want it to where it's cheaper to get them from the store, you know, a lesser quality egg. And then, now these eggs, how do they differ from the eggs that we would get at the store as far as the content of them? You know, the nutrient content, things like that.
Yeah.
Is there a noticeable difference
Yeah.
in these eggs?
You can't see it anymore because they've sat here for a minute. But these eggs are like I said, the color, the orange color of the yolks, and you can see with those that color is nutrients. The minerals and the vitamins that the hens get out of the grass go into their eggs.
All right.
They're not crowded, so these eggs aren't going to be full of salmonella and the other things that come from the factory farm eggs, because those hens are stacked on each other. These hens have space,
Yeah.
and they're not living in, 3 foot deep on manure.
Yeah.
So,
So they're kept cleaner and they get to eat grass and they're out in the sunshine,
right,
which is a big deal.
a very big deal.
That's
Yep,
a big deal. The sunshine is a big deal.
yep, and they're happy. So,
Yeah, and they're happy
like you said,
hens.
they've got good mojo in there.
Good mojo. Okay. Well, that's really cool. So we're having bacon and eggs for breakfast this morning, huh?
You bet.
All right.
Bacon and eggs from our own place.
All right. Well, okay. This is Mark from Baker's Green Acres, signing off from the Homestead Kitchen with the Homestead
Hooligans.
Hooligans. All right. See you next time. Remember, anyone can farm.